I have hundreds of houseplants and I love them all, but if you want a low maintenance, exotic looking plant, I've got a couple for you that are gonna blow your mind. And as always, I keep this very organized, so you can skip along to the part of the video that you want by clicking the chapters below. But if you watch the whole thing, I'll love you forever, because YouTube takes notice of that. Before we get to easy plants, I need to update you on my bird of paradise. Definitely check out that last video if you're interested in the care for these, because they're amazing. Oh, I have so many flowers. I love this plant so much. Not a very easy house plant, but definitely doable. The one that you can't see on screen right now is my first easy house plant. We're gonna talk about bromeliads, and this is my favorite easy house plant that nobody's growing. It's Billbergia nutans, I think. Everybody just calls it the Queen's Tears bromeliad. And look at these adorable flowers on it. What makes this plant so spectacular is that unlike the more common bromeliads, this one can actually survive freezing temperatures. Blooms all the time. Every single winter it will bloom. The flowers don't last super long, but they keep on coming. I mean, this entire clump will eventually have blooms on it, and it produces so many babies. It just gets bigger and bigger. If I put it in a bigger pot, it would just get as big as the pot. This thing will grow wherever you put it. It actually grows in regular potting soil too, so that makes it a little different than your more common bromeliads. Let me show you those, which they're also pretty easy. All right, we're in my bathroom. I'm gonna climb, please don't break, onto my sink so I can show you this beautiful art piece. This is Vriesea splendens. Reposition. Look at how cute this plant is. It really is a piece of art. It is on my wall, just like art would be. So why I love bromeliads and why they're so easy is that they typically really don't have roots. In the wild, this plant is gonna climb up a tree. Isn't that kind of cool? Not like in a vine kind of way, but you can see some of the old leaf bases and the way that the roots just cling on to this beautiful corkboard. This is from a friend of mine who mounted this beautiful plant many years ago. And so the fact, firstly, that it doesn't grow on soil means you'll never have to repot it. So if you are somebody who is afraid to repot plants, I think a bromeliad is kind of perfect for you. We're gonna take off some of these old leaves, and I'm gonna talk about the leaves because this is where these plants get watered. So a lot of times you don't wanna overhead water. Not the case with a bromeliad. You gotta kind of just give it a bath. That's how I treat this. I'll put it in the sink and just give it a little bit of a bath. You can actually see this is an old flower base, so this does bloom, but the leaves are just as beautiful as the flowers on Vriesea splendens. So a lot of bromeliads are like this, where they tend to grow on trees, but it's just such an easy plant to grow in the house because they don't need a lot of sun to thrive. So again, if you're a gardener who doesn't have a lot of light in the house, kind of forgets to water your plants every now and again, or just never wants to repot a plant, bromeliads are so perfect for you. You don't need flowers to get a plant that really starts a conversation. There's another one that I'm growing called Fireball, and you're gonna see why. And yeah, this is my bedroom. So just like my bathroom, filled with plants, and this one's kind of hiding, but it is so pretty. Neoregelia, also known as the Fireball bromeliad. Look at that red. Another plant that really doesn't need any soil to grow, and that red is going to be much, much more impressive if it's by a sunny window or if it's outside in a spot that gets morning or evening sunlight. This is just a massive plant, really massive. It's falling apart a little bit. Like, look at this. This actually fell apart. I'm gonna take this right off. Oh my gosh, the whole thing's falling apart. Look at this, it has like no roots. It's alive and well, but I'm gonna need to like put this somewhere. I think I'm just gonna break this up and put it in like a basket this summer because this plant's a hot mess. But yeah, it basically has no roots in it. And it's very healthy. it just doesn't have any roots because it doesn't need them. I'm moving on to some more traditional looking plants. We have Clivia, which has the most beautiful orange or yellow flowers, usually orange in the spring. But if you get a yellow variety, you're really lucky because that's pretty rare. And it just does great without any sunlight inside the house. I bring it out in full shade during the summertime just to give it a little spa treatment, but you don't need to. This plant does really well inside the house in full shade. And another plant, obviously, that loves the shade is a peace lily. And peace lilies, you know what? They're kind of basic. This one isn't. It's called Domino. Some of the leaves have all white or like half white, half domino variegation, but that domino variegation is what's typical for this plant. But you do sometimes get spots that are all white or have like a little green veining. And it's just like a really fun plant because every leaf is different, but you do still get your typical flowers like you would from a normal peace lily. So I just think this is a really fun plant to grow, and it's super easy, just like a peace lily is. It's going to wilt and tell you when it needs water, but really you shouldn't let your peace lily get to that point. Just water it before it starts crying for attention. But it will bounce back just like a green peace lily does when it's crying for attention. Behind me is the lady palm. She is not very dainty though. This palm tree is really hardy. So you have like palm trees that have feathers, like Chamaedorea elegans, the parlor palm. That is your more typical palm frond shape. But this is the only fan-shaped frond, kind of looks like a hand, that does really well inside the house. So if that's your vibe, this is going to do great. You don't need to give it really any sunlight at all, and nobody's really growing it inside their house. Like, I never see this for sale as a house plant. I see it in hotels sometimes, I'll see it in landscapes in tropical places, but like, why aren't you seeing it at like Home Depot? I don't know, because it's so easy. It really is. And this is a palm tree you will never see at Home Depot, the metal palm. This is my toaster. I don't know why it's in here, but it's gonna set a very good example because this is my metal palm, Chamaedorea metallica, hardcore. Anyway, I think that's like the call me sign. Call me on your landline that everybody still has, right? I don't have a landline. Look at this. Firstly, you have beautiful fused fronds, so it's very different than your typical palm tree. I do have a similar palm tree called Chamaedorea ernesti augusti, which also has fused fronds and does great inside the house. And it doesn't have a common name, so you just got to remember the botanical one for that. But this has this sheen on the leaves that's almost bluish green, but not like a blue, like a bright blue color. It's like, it just makes it look like metal. It's flawless. I have had this plant for years. I keep it inside all year long. It doesn't need sun. It prefers very little sun. So you can even keep it away from the window and it's gonna do amazing. It looks so fake. It really looks fake. Like, I kind of have a complex because I don't want people to come into my house and think I have fake plants. But she's real, and I'm proud of her. All right, this next one is called Dracaena fragrans, and I promised that I was going to show you exciting and easy plants in this video, and this plant, not that exciting. It's common. So let me show you Dracaena fragrans aspen. White aspen is the cultivar name. This is a much more exciting variety for me because look at how bright and white it is. It's just as easy to grow as the common variety. However, it has been kind of showing a tendency of some spotting. So that is my one little like, be careful, it may not look as beautiful all the time, but I mean, come on. It's worth that little bit of spotting because you don't even notice it when you're seeing all of this gorgeousness on the leaves. I mean, I absolutely love this plant. And yes, those are unopened Christmas gifts in January. Do not judge me. We like to celebrate Christmas all year long in this household. Moving on, resisting temptation to talk about my bird of paradise again, even though it's all I want to talk about. We're gonna move on away from here. This little cutie used to cost hundreds of dollars, which was ridiculous and robbery. It's a Monstera deliciosa, yummy, yummy, Thai Consellation. And by the way, it does get its name, deliciosa, for its allegedly tasty fruits, which are not edible unless you pick them when they're perfectly ripe. So it can actually like give you a really bad rash apparently. But yes, it's supposed to be delicious. So one day I'll try it. And even this little unusual variety of Monstera will give you that tasty fruit. So what I love about this variety is that it does not grow as fast as the green one, and it gets its fern stations, those little beautiful dots that are so unique to the Monstera that it looks like something kind of ate the leaves right in the middle. Those windows within the leaves happen at a much, much younger size. A much smaller plant will have more mature looking leaves when you're growing the Thai Constellation versus the green variety. So I actually find that this is more manageable, just a better overall houseplant than the green form. That's pretty rare because usually these more unusual varieties are picky and finicky, and this one's not. This one's just amazing. I've got one more easy houseplant for you, but it's hard to get to. And we're gonna explain this ladder in another video, so stay tuned for that because you're probably wondering why I have a bucket of water on a ladder. All right, back on topic, all the way in the corner here, but I love it, even though it's tucked in the corner. It doesn't look like it's getting loved. It is my Philodendron. It's got heart-shaped leaves, so even if you don't love it, it still loves you back. And look at the glossiness to these leaves. I don't put anything special, none of that leaf shine, whatever stuff on it. No, naturally glossy, loves low light conditions, gets absolutely huge. This one's called Philodendron cordatum, but some of them stay nice and small. So there's a Philodendron for everyone. A really common but still expensive-ish one is called Philodendron gloriosum. Much smaller size to this Philodendron, and it has some really cool leaves. So really like that plant, and you can't quite see all the leaves because it's, again, tucked into the corner, but an easy plant for those of you who have low light conditions. And again, another plant that if you miss a few waterings, it'll still forgive you, but great in low light. Not all of them get this big, do not be alarmed, but this particular species does. And I love a big plant that can make an impact, especially when it's easy to grow. Anyway, I just think it's appropriate to end here because I keep on talking about my bird of paradise plant. I love them. And I really thank you guys for sticking along and watching this video and all of my others. It means a lot to me. Like and subscribe if you're into seeing this so that way you get alerted when I make more videos or when something goes wrong in my house, because inevitably with all of these plants, I'm probably going to destroy my floors or have some sort of bug infestation. So far I haven't had that problem yet. So I'm hoping that continues and we could just keep on talking about fun plant things because spring is only 2.5 months away. A little less than 2.5.